Good evening. Welcome to Sergeant Watlington's YouTube channel. Today we're here with Specialist Leberstein.
Yes, Sergeant Lambertson.
Lambertson, sorry.
Yes.
I apologize. I'm terrible at names. We're here talking about the Great and Wonderful 68 Wings Whiskey Series, the second largest MOS here. So I'm here to do an interview for soldiers that had any questions with my 68 series. So go ahead and kind of introduce yourself to the audience.
Hey everyone, name's Specialist Lambertson. Been in the Army for, I reported at Fort Benning in 2016, so going on about 6 years now. 6 years. I've been in the Army, 68 Whiskey, healthcare specialist, aka combat medic, doc, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same. Yeah, I love it. It's wild.
That's great. So tell me a little bit about your unit and your position that you're in.
Okay, so I am in a unit under 3rd Infantry Division, Rock of the Marne, 128 Infantry, also commonly referred to as Task Force 128, but we no longer fly those colors anymore, so now we're just 128th Infantry Regiment. It is a FORSCOM unit, so we are a deployable unit. We are a light infantry unit. So pretty much all the medics that are in the unit are, training to go deploy and be alongside the infantrymen in a fight.
Okay, so since you are necessarily a doc or combat medic, who do you work underneath or work with as a combat medic?
Okay, so this is where it gets a little tricky, all right? So every medic in the Army works under a provider's license, a healthcare provider's license. So I currently work under Major Krellin, who is our medical doctor, who has a physician's assistant, Major Valadez. I technically work under Major Valadez here in the clinic, and I work under her license. So pretty much anything she says I can do, I can legally perform.
Okay. What job components, like are you active Army? Are you National Guard? Are you, where's your job in the Army actively?
Okay, so I am active duty. I am active duty stationed here on Fort Benning. And I get this question a lot too. It's like, I want to be a medic, but I want to be Guard. Do they have jobs in the Guard or reserves? I'm here to tell you, wherever you have U.S. forces, anywhere in the world, there's always medics there. So that includes all the components: Guard, reserve, and active duty. I can go. So I actually plan on going Guard here in the next 2 years when I get out.
Okay, that's awesome. And what requirements do you need as a ASVAB score and a GT score?
Okay, so don't really know the whole ASVAB score, but it's more about your line scores. If you've ever taken an ASVAB score, you'll realize, an ASVAB test, you'll realize that the GT score, which is like general knowledge, it also helps predict how teachable you are. That's really the most important one for any MOS. And you need at least a 107 on your GT score. For example, I scored believe it or not, kind of ironic, a 68 on my ASVAB, and I received a 117 on my GT score. I needed a 107 to get the job. So you need at least a 107 GT score. You need to be physically fit. Okay, like, yes, I work in the clinic, but before here I spent 3 years on the line, dragging infantrymen in full kit out on the field, okay? You also need to make sure you don't have any aversion to blood or, bodily fluids, meaning you don't get sick when someone else gets sick in front of you, or you don't pass out when you see blood. Kind of defeats the purpose.
All right, so go ahead and explain your AIT one more time.
It's 16 weeks long down in San Antonio, Texas, on Fort Sam Houston. It's a joint base. It's where everyone in the medical field and any branch of the service goes to for training. So it's broken down in 2 phases for Army medics. First 8 weeks is EMT training. So every medic, like I said, is an NRMT-B, Nationally Registered EMT Basic. And so your first 8 weeks, it's all about being an EMT. It's, vitals, how to control bleeding, how to deal with patients. Very basic stuff. Nothing fun, nothing cool. I'm going to be honest, I'm not here to glorify anything. It's very boring. It's death by PowerPoint every day for 8 weeks. It's hard, but you can get through it. The second phase is what we call whiskey phase, which is where we go from the civilian side EMT to the combat side of the house. And that's where we learn the Tactical Combat Casualty Care, or TCCC, or Tactical Medicine, as we call it, trauma medicine. So that's where we're getting out there in full kit with our weapons, and we're doing mock patrols. We're learning how to control bleeding with advanced measures, surgical crikes, IVs, pain medications, all different sorts of procedures and interventions that we can do to save people's lives on the battlefield in austere environments. So completely different. They literally tell you day one when you get to whiskey phase, brain dump everything you learned in EMT phase, because it's not going to work here. And it's so true. Not saying that you don't need EMTB, because I actually use my EMT certs more every day than I do my tactical training.
Okay, so I understand that you said you were getting out at about 2 years.
Yes.
So what are some of your goals or some of the aspirations that you were able to accomplish while becoming, while you were as a whiskey, 68 whiskey?
Okay, so one, I joined the Army. You know, I needed to grow up a little bit, needed that discipline, and it helped a little bit. But so some of the things I've done, you know, I've been all over the country with the Army. I haven't deployed to a combat zone or anything like that, but I went one time to West Point, New York, the military academy up there, and I got to train all the future officers in the Army for an entire summer. I was up there for about 4 or 5 months. It was probably the best time of my life, like definitely best time of my career.
That's pretty awesome. So what are some of the credentials that you could get with this particular MOS, like in order, like in the civilian side, that'd be able to help you transition into the civilian sector?
Oh, too easy. So we're gonna use my plan, right? Just because it kind of highlights everything. Before I get out, I have about 1.5 years, 2 years left. I'm actually about to be accepted into a paramedic program to be a nationally registered paramedic. Why not? The Army pays for it. Okay. So once I get out, because it's a nationally registered certificate, I'm able to transition to the civilian side as a paramedic. And I actually have 3 fire departments calling me and emailing me, hey, when are you getting out of the Army? Send us your DD-214. You have a job with us.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know what a DD-214 is.
Oh,
Could you elaborate?
Sorry, DD-214 is a mythical, magical piece of paper that pretty much says you are now discharged from the military. Obviously, you have honorable discharge, other than honorable and dishonorable. I'm telling you right now, if you do decide to join the military, even if it's for 1 contract, 4 years, do whatever you gotta do to get out with an honorable discharge. Part of my job as a medic is actually doing medical out processing. And I've seen a lot of good people that do stupid things in the military get out with a other than honorable, and they reach out and like, hey, like, can I get back in the Army because I can't even get a job working at McDonald's. So yeah, that DD-214, it's like I said, it's discharge paperwork.
Okay. So as a last resort, as a last hurrah for the video, so kind of go ahead and give a clean version of your recruitment story about how you joined the military and how you ended up picking the job, because this is always funny and I want people to just be honest, because a lot of recruiters, some are honest, some are not. So I just kind of want to give the people kind of an experience of what's going on.
So disclaimer, I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. My dad, he served in the Navy for 20 plus years. So he was kind of giving me hints on what they were going to say before I walked in there. But honestly, I walked into a recruiter's office because I got into a fight with my parents when I was still living at home, and they told me I needed a job and I couldn't find one. They said, well, you need to come up with something. Kind of had our moment, you know, father-son moment. I left, rode my bicycle to the nearest recruiting station 6 miles away. Said, I want to leave for the Army right now. I'm done with this town, I'm done. And so this recruiter saw a broken, young, vulnerable man and was like, bet, too easy. So he brought me in, took the ASVAB, scored pretty high on it. He's like, so what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be an infantryman. Thank goodness there's 2 medics that were on recruiting duty that said, no, you don't.
Shout out to the infantrymen. It's not made for everybody. Those are the true heroes. Okay.
Yeah. Good for those barrel-chested freedom fighters, okay? But these 2 medics were like, no, you don't. This is what you want to do. Now, this is where they got me. I said, okay, what am I going to do as a combat medic? I should have realized what that sounded like, right? Combat medic. They said, oh, we're just going to put you in the hospital. Like, you're going to have a 9 to 5 job working in the ER, being surrounded by all the pretty nurses. I was like, Yeah, sign me up. Like, oh, San Antonio down in Texas is great. So yeah, 6 years later, here I am. Guess what? Never once have been stationed in the hospital. Never once was stationed in San Antonio other than AIT.
Okay, so I really appreciate you coming out. You can go ahead and give a shout out and put some of your stuff, your social media on there so my people can follow you to kind of get your experience. And if they have any questions, they can reach out to you. So you can go ahead and shout yourself out for me.
Yeah, go ahead. So my Instagram, known as the, don't laugh and judge me, but the Soul Doctor, the_soul_doctor, DR. All right, go ahead and follow me for a lot of life advice. And stuff like that. So.
And then I'll go ahead and put all his basically his information in the description box. If you guys have any other questions, please hit me up in the description box and I'll be happy to help you. Thank you guys and have a great day.